Hey everybody, how's it going? I'd like to read everybody a bedtime story. There are some questions that I keep getting regarding hiring Eugene Harrington from Gotham City Solutions. People have asked why I simply did not allow him to finish the job. They've stated that it's unfair that I judge the work before allowing him to finish the job. After I found out the quality of materials he was using, after seeing the quality of work that he had done, after realizing that he said a door was $650 when it was about $60, and after hearing his own staff seemingly, how do I put this, lack faith in him, that would be the nice way to put it. I'd like to read you a bedtime story that is from someone else. Any of the commentary that I give is, of course, going to be my opinion. However, I will include a link at the end of the video that shows this New York County Clerk public document that any of you will be able to find. So that being said, let's get on to reading my bedtime story. My bedtime story starts with the Supreme Court of the state of New York with Melissa Lerner, Erica Lerner, Ellen Lerner, and Alan Lerner against Eugene Harrington doing business as Gotham City Solutions. Now, let's just take a look at this complaint. I'm going to scroll past all of the legal mumbo-jumbo because it's just kind of boring and get to the actual case itself. So here it says that they are the owners of a premises at 73 Startup Drive, Montauk, New York, and they entered a So here it says they are the owners of a property in Montauk, and on August 8th, 2013, plaintiff Ellen Lerner, mother of Melissa and Erica Lerner, executed a contract with defendant Eugene Harrington and defendant Gotham City Solutions to finish the basement at the premises to be used as an office, playroom, and general open space for when she came to visit her daughters at the premises. The contract with defendant Eugene Harrington and defendant Gotham City Solutions was to construct multiple bedrooms plus home theater, gym, I'm guessing that's a typo, family room, and bathroom in an unimproved 2,800 square foot ground level area. Erica, the mic is an Omni, so if you do that, they'll hear it much louder. No typing. Okay. The price for the fully completed job, including but not limited to supplying all fixtures, flooring, theater seating, projection equipment, screens, wall sconce lighting fixtures, screen and screen framing curtains on screen wall and side walls was modified to $120,000 plus $5,000 for a total of $125,000, which was to include flooring. So the job is $125,000. The terms for the payment schedule were contracted and agreed to as follows: 10% of $12,500 as a down payment upon acceptance of the terms. Additional 25%, $31,250 upon commencement of the work. Additional 25%, $31,250 after all rough framing and rough electrical work is complete. Additional 25%, $31,250 after all rough plumbing is complete and all walls and ceiling boards are installed and taped, compounded, and all doors are installed. Additional 10%, $12,500 after all electrical fixtures, plumbing fixtures, and heating fixtures are installed. And a final 5%, $6,250 after confirmation that all fixtures, climate control, and theater components are functioning properly. So that's about a $125,000 project to be paid in stages. The contract also included a clause which stated that any agreed to additions to the above scope of work will be required to be paid in full at the time of the request. Defendant Eugene Harrington informed the plaintiffs that additional work had to be completed in order to properly install the plumbing. The following payments were made by plaintiffs as a result of Eugene Harrington's representation in photographs regarding completion of various stages according to the contract. So something of interest here is that the plaintiffs are located in Florida, whereas the defendant and the place that is being worked on is in New York. So photographs are being used to judge the completion level of the project because they are not able to see it in person. So it says A, August 8th, 2013, check for the down payment of $12,500. B, August 12th, check for 25% for $31,250. I'm guessing that this zero here is an extra because whoever was typing this up probably gets as much sleep as I do. Here, September 25th, 2013, check for 25%, progress payment as reported by Eugene Harrington, $31,250. October 15th, a check for 25%, progress payment as reported by Eugene Harrington for $31,250. During the summer and fall months of 2013, 85% of the job had been paid for based upon representation made by defendant Eugene Harrington and accompanied by photographs demonstrating the framing. The rough electrical and the rough plumbing had been completed. However, it was subsequently discovered that the photographs had been altered or photoshopped to show completion when in reality it had not been completed by defendant Harrington. Now, I got to meet this individual in person. I saw the way that he interfaced with a phone. I saw the general comfort level that he had with a computer. I don't believe that this is a person that is photoshopping anything. Most likely, Shutterstock or Google image search, that I could see. I think that photoshopping, in my opinion, is outside of the intellect of this guy. I don't see that happening. But I do see him potentially just grabbing random photos or even grabbing photos of another job, in my opinion. This is my speculation as to what would occur, in claiming that is what occurred. Also, for 85% of the job to be paid during fall of 2013, so you were I can imagine that you were expecting that if the job is 85% done in 3 months, that you would, actually less than 3 months, in about 2 months here, that you would imagine that maybe 100% of it should be done by December or January, meaning that your timeline for this job was originally somewhere in the 4 to 5 month range. Just keep that in mind as we continue reading this so that you have an idea of what is going on here. Now, it says during the summer of 2013, defendant Eugene Harrington also informed plaintiffs that additional work had to be done in order to bring plumbing down for the bathroom construction and wet bar construction. According to the contract, the customer is responsible for any repairs beyond the scope of work that had become necessary as a result of unknown site conditions, such as existing water damage behind walls or cabinets. Defendant Eugene Harrington represented that he had to do additional repair work to break up the basement cement floors and channel concrete for new bathroom drain system, supply and install floor drain piping for new basement bathroom, dig out foundation wall from outside, and determine point of water ingress. D. Repair and seal foundation wall to prevent further water damage. E. Apply thorough seal brand foundation sealer to repaired areas. And F. Supply and install wood trim where the new walls meet the flooring. For the extra work required, as stated by defendant Eugene Harrington, plus plaintiffs requested additions of supplying and installing hot and cold water plumbing piping for outdoor shower and a dance gym room with mirrors and ballet bar, defendant Eugene Harrington charged plaintiffs $23,325, and according to contract, new work orders were payable at the time of charges needed. So in addition to the $106,000 already paid by the end of fall 2013, plaintiffs had to pay an additional $10,000 for the $23,000 worth of change orders. Does this sound at all interesting or is familiar to where we're having a conversation about the flooring, you're trying to kind of squirmish out of having to do the bathroom, and that's the day that you upsell Steve on a counter and collect a deposit on. Just kind of interesting how how our stupidity seems to mirror the ignorance and gullibility of the individuals that were suing him. The new total for the completion of the entire project was now $148,325, of which plaintiffs had made payments of $116,250 by January 2014. Accordingly, plaintiffs owed only $32,075 for the rest of the job to be completed. This balance represented only 20% left on the entire job, together with the additional work required. After January 1st, 2014, all work had fundamentally stopped at this point, and defendant Eugene Harrington had numerous excuses for not being able to complete the job during winter months of December 2013 to March 2014, including not being able to get his truck up the driveway because of snow. Come on.
December 2013 to March 2014.
Come on. I've lived here all my life. I've been here for the Staten Island blizzard in around 1995, 1996. I'm aware of how much snow can accumulate in New York. I'm fully aware of it. You got $103,000, and you're saying that for a period of 3 months, you're not able to get into the driveway because of snow. There's not one day of those 3 months where you're able to get into the driveway or where the snow goes down enough that you may be able to pick up your little shovel and pay somebody that you know $200 to help you shovel before you get to the house. During the summer and fall of 2014, defendant Eugene Harrington continued to make excuses for not being able to complete the job. Plaintiffs communicated to defendant Eugene Harrington that they were commencing legal action. Now, keep in mind here, this is interesting. It says that he was not able to do the work in December 2013 to March 2014 because of snow. Now, let's say that you say, I'm being too hard on him. Let's say you're saying, well, Montauk snow's different than the rest of New York. How do you know there wasn't so much snow there for 3 straight months in a state where you could have 67 degrees one day, 17 degrees the next day, that he wasn't able to make it? How much snow do you have in the summer and fall of 2014? During the summer and fall of 2014, defendant Eugene Harrington continued to make excuses for not being able to complete the job. Plaintiffs communicated to defendant Eugene Harrington that they were now commencing legal action. Defendant Eugene Harrington requested additional time, stating that if plaintiffs allowed him to commence work again in June of 2015, he would complete the job as promised. Plaintiffs reluctantly agreed but told him they would not be getting any additional payments until the job was completed. So, during the summer and fall of 2015, he's saying, I can't even start up again until June of 2015. So, in the beginning of 2014, January, February, March, he was saying that the snow is keeping me from doing it. Then summer comes, and he's not doing the job, according to the document. Then fall comes, and he's not doing the job, according to the document. And at that point, he doesn't even say, oh, well, there's snow again. It's December 2014. It's January 2015. There's snow again. No, he says, I can't even start again until June of 2015 because I got the money.
I'm really curious to know what his excuse was. Like, why could he only start in June 2015?
Yeah, like, that's a stretch because he says there's snow. I know that's BS, in my opinion. Most of the world, in their opinion, will know that that's BS, but fine. Like, that's one level of BS.
Have you ever had an employee tell you, I can't work for 1 whole month or 3 months because of the snow? Have you ever heard that?
But I'm not able to work for a year. Like, that's a full year right there. He's of excuses. During June of 2015, approximately 25% of the entire job had been completed, despite the fact that Eugene Harrington had received approximately 80% of the payments. Defendant Eugene Harrington then discussed progress, payments for additional monies, with plaintiff Alan Lerner, father of plaintiffs Melissa Lerner and Erica Lerner. Defendant Eugene Harrington requested small payments per week of work, citing that he wouldn't be able to complete the project as he had no money to do what he had promised.
What?
So at this point, he had taken 80% of the money. He had done 25% of the work, and in spite of the fact that for over $100,000, he had only done 25% of the work, he did not have enough money. Now, at that point, the question must be asked, which is, what did you do with $100,000? And this is purely opinion at this point. This is opinion and speculation. But to me, that sounds like a gambling problem or a drug addiction. I don't see how you could lose $100,000 that quickly as a contractor unless you are either addicted to drugs or addicted to gambling. Just my guess. Purely speculation. But it really does beg the question of what you did with that amount of money. So what we did is we realized that, hey, are you able to bring the materials? Now, with any other contractor, I would not ask you to bring them until they're done. But we're dealing with you. Something seems fishy. I don't think, I would ask for receipts, but I know you don't have them. Let's see if you at least bought the stuff that you said you did. When he was unable to produce the materials and did the dog and pony show of getting into his truck and riding about the block, pretending to pick them up, that was it for me. That was the moment where I realized that the money that I had given you did not go to materials and likely would never go to materials. And to those who may speculate and say, why didn't you wait? Sometimes you have a feeling, you have an intuition that you're getting screwed, in my opinion. And reading this, it seems like the exact same MO, except just with a job that cost almost 10 times the first contract that we gave him. This is like 5 or 10 times that contract amount. And this, at 80% of the money, 25% of the work, you could not continue without taking little more piecemeal payments. So it says over here, June 2nd, $1,000. June 22nd, $5,000. This is just like paying an employee piecemeal at this point, for each week of work. It says new balances of June 28, 2015 was now $26,075. Plaintiff Alan Lerner bought theater chairs as per his discussion with defendant Eugene Harrington, who promised to take the full amount off the balance owed. Alan believed that if defendant Eugene had finished the job, it would be better than hiring a new contractor, so he agreed to defendant Eugene Harrington's request to assist with additional cash flow for remaining work. And this is where I talk about things like sunken cost fallacy, where I did something stupid. I did something dumb. Do you compound that? And do you let it continue until it bleeds you dry because you did something stupid and you want to defend your action? I need to look back and realize I've spent 12 years in business. I've dealt with lots of scammers. I've dealt with lots of crazy situations I had to navigate myself through. I navigated myself through dealing with Apple, represented by Kilpatrick and Townsend, where they were probably paying $1,200 an hour for an attorney, and I came out ahead. And I got screwed by who is, in my opinion, appears to be a common crook that ain't even that smart. Time to admit it and move on. Throw out the work that they did that's crap. Start anew. Don't trust. It's very, very important to not buy your own crap and think that and try to justify your decisions or attach your identity to the bad decisions that you made so that you're now forced to salvage or save your bad decisions. Take your bad decisions, admit that you screwed up, move on. This person gave this guy over $100,000 of a $120,000 to $140,000 job. He got 25% of the work, and he is still giving the guy money because, in my opinion, he couldn't admit that he made a mistake and move on. But let's see how that finishes, because he says that he thinks it would be better than hiring a new contractor. So he agreed to defendant Eugene Harrington's request to assist with cash flow for remaining work. June 29th, 2015, Alan bought the chairs, $4,900. Additional progress payment, June 29th, $2,500. Balance as of September 30th was now $18,625. Additional payments were made by plaintiff throughout September and October of 2015. September 30th, $2,000. $1,800. October 15th, $3,000. October 24th, $3,500. On October 18, 2015, defendant Eugene Harrington puts in writing an agreement which states, I agree to complete the project as outlined, regardless of money left on the invoice. Now, note what they said. In 2014, he said, I'm not going to be able to do it until 2015, and they said, okay, but we're not going to give you any more money until you finish the work. We're not giving you more money until you do the work. And they went back on their word. And this is what occurred. They went back on their word to advocate for themselves. And what did he do? In my opinion, he bled them dry. I agree to complete the project as outlined regardless of money left on the invoice. Defendant Eugene Harrington executed the agreement because he and plaintiff Alan Lerner outlined a plan to have the project completed by Thanksgiving, I imagine Thanksgiving of 2015. Defendant Eugene Harrington represented that he has approximately 2 weeks of work left to complete the project. This is a meme, by the way. For any of you who are not familiar with this, who haven't dealt with contractors in the past, anytime someone says the job will be done in 2 weeks, they're memeing you. Run. It is no such thing. There's no such thing. If you're asking someone to hang shelves, see, there are jobs that can take less than 2 weeks. If you ask somebody to hang shelves and they say 2 days, if you ask somebody to replace a window and a frame, maybe 3 days. But if somebody says 2 weeks for a job, you're getting bamboozled, in my opinion. Represented that he has approximately 2 weeks of work left to complete the project, but he claimed that he couldn't work over the winter months because of the driveway.
It's the snow.
The driveway. He now promised that the basement would be completed by Memorial Day 2016. And do keep in mind that this was a project where he told them that it was about 85% done. 85% done in the end of the year 2013. He's now saying it will be completed in Memorial Day of 2016. Additional payments were made by plaintiffs in May of 2016. May 10th, 2016, $2,500. May 17th, 2016, $2,000. Defendant Eugene Harrington demonstrated proof of work in progress and work completed by sending the plaintiffs photographs showing a fully installed theater room with projection box installed, screen installed, curtains on the side of the screen, lighting, etc. This is the part that actually broke my heart. And when Erica was reading this case, I could see the look in her face where she felt genuine sadness and sympathy for this family that she's never met. I could tell.
Yeah, I was absolutely disgusted at this. When I was reading the story, it was heartbreaking because you can see that they poured money into this and they were paying him more and more frequently. If you look at the timelines, right, there were times they were giving him like $5,000 a pop, within the span of 2 weeks because they were so desperate and having this, this house completed. They had invested so much time and energy into it.
But let's read what happens here. However, the photos were not taken from the basement of the premises. Rather, they were taken from internet pictures of such installation, clearly intending to deceive and defraud the plaintiffs. This was not discovered until May 17th, 2016, when the plaintiffs went to the house. So, when the plaintiffs went to the house, that's the point that they realized that not only did they pay over $100,000, over 80% of the money, for less than 25% of the work to be done. Not only were they paying him piecemeal because he screwed up all of the $100,000 he got, they were paying him $1,000 here, $2,000 here, $5,000 here, whatever, for the work that he was doing. That's when they realized that this work wasn't even being done.
It was a sham.
It was a sham. He was sending them pictures of something else that wasn't their house. After the May 17, 2016 payment, Eugene Harrington did not return phone calls, did not respond to emails, and did not do any more work despite being paid for 100% of the job. So at this point, it's been almost 3 years of a job that was supposed to take, if 80% of it was claimed to be done after about 2 months, worst case, probably 4, 5, or 6 months. It's been almost 3 years. He took 100% of the money that they originally agreed to. He took most, if not all, of the money that they agreed to do in addition to the work that they were starting with. And this is a common theme that I noticed with him, is that if we're discussing the floor being finished, he'll try to upsell you on a counter. If we're talking about a counter, we'll try to upsell you on something else. And then when he's not able to finish it, what I found he would do is he would say, hey, listen, you're asking me to change all these things. You're asking me to change all these things. No, we're not. You offered. As Steve said, you can't offer something and then say, the reason I couldn't do the first thing you asked me is because you asked me to do the second thing. You don't get to do that. If I say, oh yeah, by the way, I see that you have a CD stuck in your drive. I see your battery's not good. You want me to replace your battery too? And then 2 weeks later, I haven't taken your CD out. Oh, you asked me to change the battery. I offered. I take the CD out and then I put the battery in. Like, what the? Yeah. Plaintiffs repeat and reiterate paragraphs 1 through 29 above with the same force and effect as if fully set forth herein. Plaintiffs had made all timely payments toward the contract to complete construction and remodeling of the basement at the premises. However, the construction services provided by the defendant were severely inadequate and incomplete. Plaintiffs have communicated to the defendant in all their complaints. However, to date, there has been no resolution. And to date here, it seems is February 8th of 2017. So after they never heard from him from May 17th to February 8th, 2017. So that's quite a bit of waiting for him to finish the job after they paid for the whole thing. It says, in fact, defendant Eugene Harrington has completely stopped construction at the premises and refuses to communicate with the plaintiffs in any manner. That, as a result of defendant's unsatisfactory completion of the job, plaintiffs incurred additional expenses to complete the remaining work. Defendants Eugene Harrington and Gotham City Solutions have breached the contract between plaintiff and defendant. Defendant had breached the contract by accepting payment from plaintiff and not completing construction and remodeling services so contracted for. Plaintiff has cause of action in breach of contract. By reason of the foregoing, plaintiff is entitled to judgment against defendants for breach of express contract in the amount of $100,000, with interest from the date of default, plus reasonable attorney's fees, costs, and disbursements, and so on and so forth. And the rest of it just winds up being a bunch of legal stuff, defining unjust enrichment, blah, 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 blah. The part of this that's actually a story at this point is done. But if you look into the case, you will see that on websites detailing the history of filing for bankruptcy, this family is listed as a creditor because they were issued a judgment. Now, one individual in my comments brought up an excellent point. Lewis, that's one side of the story. It's one side of the story. What if your Yelp reviews were some things that you were not allowed to reply to and you just saw what customers said when they blatantly lied? Well, that's a great point. One of the reasons that I respond to reviews, sometimes when I screwed something up, sometimes when they're just incorrect, is I would like people to see both sides of the story. You can at least hear both sides and see what you believe. It looks to me from these documents, and this is just the voice of inexperience speaking, I'm not an attorney, I'm not an expert at digging through legal documents, but I will link below to the details of the case, that he did not issue a rebuttal. So I'm not able to read his side of the story because he did not present one. Similar to the bankruptcy, where he filed for it, but was declined it because he never followed up with the rest of the documents and showed up, at least from what I see. That's my interpretation, in my limited to zero legal experience reading the documents. It doesn't appear that he even showed up to defend himself. So if I get a review that says, you destroyed my stuff, I should at least respond to it and say, well, you had a cat piss on it, and it was corroding, and it was leaking piss when you gave it to me. There's a back and forth there. Here, there's no back and forth. I don't see any disputing of this. I don't see him saying, oh, you made that up. And when it comes to a judgment of over $100,000, you'd think the individual would at least show up in court and say, hey, by the way, I have an interest in keeping this $100,000. Here's where they got it wrong. But that didn't occur. So, in the absence of being able to hear from the defendant, I'm not sure what to think of this argument. It seems like they never collected on their judgment, but it does seem like they were issued their judgment in a court of law because no counter-arguments were ever even presented. And that's kind of sad. But I hope this really drills home to I realized I chose the wrong person. I trusted the wrong referral, and I did not do the research that I should have done because I was stressed, I was anxious, I was overworked, and I just thought, let me trust someone that I know that's been in business that said, these people will take care of you. I fucked up. But when people ask, well, you should have let him finish the job. How can you judge whether or not it would have come out well if you don't let him finish the job? I know his employees think that he sucks, in my opinion. I know that he uses substandard materials and changes materials out and doesn't buy the stuff that you pay for and cheaps out on every little thing, workmanship-wise and parts-wise. But you should give him a chance to finish it. No. Nope. I lost enough money. I'm not going to figure out the way that these individuals figured out that they're not going to get the work and their judgment will never be collected on. I looked at the back of my checks that I gave to Mr. Eugene Harrington, and the stamp on the back is from a check cashing place. Check cashing facilities, as you may be aware, charge in somewhere from like a 3 to 6% fee to cash a check. And when you're talking about a check for $9,000 or $10,000 or $11,000, you're talking about $300 to $600 just as a fee. Who does that outside of the type of individual that knows that if they deposit money in the bank, it's gone? If he had deposited that money in the bank, in my opinion, as my interpretation from the documents I read here, if he had deposited that money into a business bank account, that money would have went straight to the creditors. That money would have never went to him. It would have went directly to plaintiffs like Alan Lerner. It would have went directly to creditors like Wells Fargo, U.S. National Bank, the IRS, the New York State Department of Labor. It would have never went to him. Individuals, in my opinion, don't take those steps of paying a $500 to $600 fee to cash a check just to hide money unless they need to. The actions that he took were the actions, in my opinion, of a scammer, a scam artist who knows what they're doing, who has done it before, and who, if this type of information is not put at the forefront of every search engine, will likely be able to do it again. I'm able to find his bankruptcy filings after I did my videos as result number 2 and 3. It's amazing how SEO works when you link to things. That didn't show up before. All these documents are public, but you gotta dig. Hopefully, the next person that's given a positive referral from someone that they know and trust, when they put this into Google, they find a bit more. That being said, I'll read some of your chat. Let's see what we have here. Where is my mouse? There's my mouse. It'd be different if Eugene just did things late, but this case is back in 2013. He hasn't stopped being a douchebag for 7+ years, in Jack's opinion. That's what it sounds like. 2 weeks equals 5 months, 20 change orders, and $25K in additional costs, says Demented Paintballer. Hi says if I made this basement any nicer, you couldn't afford it. This contractor is a con man, says Dev/Random. It sounds like that's his opinion.
This most sickening thing to me is that you guys can see the video proof that he was saying things like, the
Love helping, but can I help you with demo?
One.
I'm not putting in writing or voice that you can help me with demo because you're not an employee of my business. That's not the type of thing that I'm going to say out loud.
Yeah.
All right, but continue, Erica. Sorry.
The thing that I was going to say is that you guys can see in the video that there were concerns about his work, and he says the work will speak for itself, and he'll do work that will make the viewers happy with it. So he knew that you guys had donated via GoFundMe and Patreon, and we wanted to go ahead and keep the costs low. And because of that personal referral, there was a level of trust, and we thought, oh, okay, he's going to do a good job, and he'll pull through. He didn't. So for him to know that he was getting recorded and say, your viewers will be happy with my work, it just shows to me that he was absolutely defiant. He didn't care. He knew most likely there wouldn't be any repercussions, because to go ahead and go after him legally, we've been told it would be about the same amount that we paid him.
And so the thing about that is that it doesn't even matter, because if somebody... I looked up the family that sued him. They have considerably more resources than I do, it seems. And if they were able to actually get this case done out of the park, they were able to win a judgment. They were able to prove their case set in stone, and it sounds like they have a better case than I did. And they collected nothing? What am I going to collect?
You're in the line of creditors, and he's already gone ahead, in my opinion, changed his workflow.
Why
so
would
if
you...
he gets a check, he's not going to go ahead and put it in the bank, right? Because he knows that the IRS or the bank is going to be waiting for that money to come in. He's going to go ahead and go to the cash checking place, get the money, take the cash, and drive off.
So someone says, why would you pay for a job you haven't seen, especially if you don't trust the worker? Yeah, that's the thing with me. I was showing up every single day, even when I did trust the worker. I can't, reading this story, I would never pay a contractor to do a job where I can't see it. Because I'm riding a quarter of the mile up the road from 12th Street to 27th Street, from 1st Avenue to 7th Avenue, to see the work every single day. I can't imagine. It's sad such a person exists, as Dev Random. That's the way I see it. Either way, if he pulled something like this in Europe, he wouldn't be able to pull it off a second time with his name. Thank God Lewis escaped earlier before he got screwed more. Yep.
I know exactly what would have happened. Most likely, he would have gone ahead and did what he did with the flooring, right? Do a crap job, and then we'll go ahead and complain, and he'll say he needs more time. What it's going to do is just going to delay whatever opening we had planned for the new store. Maybe stretch it out to a year.
This person takes advantage of the lack of enforcement in the contractor's world, cutting corners, no inspections, and the worst thing is that the contractor has the upper hand in fees. Yeah, that's the interesting thing. Again, when people think that he was the low bid.
He wasn't the low bid.
He was not the low bid.
He was the trusted
The super
person.
was the low bid. He didn't even turn up to plead the fifth at bare minimum. That's the other thing. Like when I say that, in my opinion, pure speculation, not proven, that he has either a drug or a gambling problem, it makes me wonder if it's a drug issue. Why wouldn't you show up to court? This is $100,000 and your business on the line. It is not like this is show up and refute what has been said. Show up and make it just a little bit harder for them.
I'm going to go ahead and, put a pure speculation here. Maybe he thought that in the event that he showed up, people might be waiting for him. He didn't want people to be waiting for him. So it's much better for him to go ahead and just hide in the shadows.
This guy should stop being so stressed. And NBA players should stop sweating while they play. Those damn people should stop sweating.
I honestly think that the learners hired Eugene based on a referral. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at how they trusted him, right? It doesn't seem like they were supervising him. It seemed like they weren't even in New York a good chunk of the time. I think that they trusted whoever referred them to hire him to go ahead and do the job. Same situation with us.
If he's screwing up now, the job will still be screwed up when it's done. No, I almost disagree. If he's screwing up now, the job will never be done. There's no done with this bit. Let's see.
I think he would have been done in his eyes, but then we would find faults in it. We would demand for him to go ahead and fix it, and he'll say, okay, I'll fix it, and he'll just draw things out more, and then he'll put in some change orders.
It's a nice bruise you have on your arm. Yep.
That's from his martial arts.
I'm going to have another one on this arm tomorrow. You'll see. Much learning. People said to let him finish the job.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, that's a common comment.
Yes. People said
You're
that
slandering this man before he's finished the job. Why you have to give him a chance to finish it? Just because he nailed something down doesn't mean it's done. Because I nail things shut all the time when I'm done with them.
The thing that was really eye-opening is when the employees came forward and if you look at the video where when he got fired, the employee said something like, this is what he does. They usually get fired from the jobs, and he's done this something like 10 times over, if whatever Louis found.
He does that to avoid execution to satisfy a judgment. I don't understand that, because the judgment was made against him.
No, he just doesn't want people to catch him outside of the courtroom.
The problem is Lewis could have played this differently and screwed the contractor without firing him. The contractor is required to do what is outlined. By firing him, you've absolved him. Yeah, but at that point, you have to fire him to move on to the next person.
So Dev Random, what do you suggest the learners have done? Because they drew this out for 3 years. They shouldn't have fired him? They should have continue paying him? Because that's exactly what they did, and they haven't seen a drop of their money. It seems to be.
Yeah, the thing is, I could have let this go on forever, but what is the point of that? And also, to the individual to stop being stressed, I need to get rid of you so that I could hire. The moment I sign this job over to somebody else that I know and trust, we have a proper scope of work, and I know they're going to do it right, that's the moment that my stress begins to end. Or not end, but at least kind of get tempered. But it's not going to get tempered until I start working with somebody that I trust. And to get that on the road, I need to get rid of him. Just make sure you don't get banned from Twitch for revealing info of the guys. Twitch works differently than YouTube. A, this is a public New York County Clerk document. You could look this up. It's available to anybody for free. B, it's Twitch.
Everything is on public info. Or it's on Google.
What about the time you lost because of Eugene the rent money? Oh, indeed, that too.
I was a bill collector for 5 years. This is normal for someone in Eugene's position to take the money and run. Yep.
Have you ever looked into the check cashing place to see if it's a legit place or one of those family-run places?
I believe it's a Western Union.
I'm going to take a visit to it. I think it may be interesting to take a visit. So many people could learn from this experience. The comment saying let him finish shows some are not trying.
And that's the thing that I want everyone to learn from. A lot of you have been with us every step of the way. And you guys have gotten to see, firsthand how Eugene operated, what Lewis did, and what wasn't done. So I do hope that you guys do your due diligence. If you guys hire a contractor, make sure you get multiple opinions. And when a contractor says they want to do something, right, like put in a deck, ask other contractors what they would do. If he's the only one suggesting a deck and the other people say no, having a deck would be stupid.
No deck.
Right? I made some calls to some flooring places today. I spoke to 2 contractors, and both of them said basically it was a really stupid idea to have a deck.
The really funny thing about this is the flooring place that she thought to call was the one that was next to the store. Paul and I walked into that flooring place and asked. They said, no, we don't do that type of work, but okay, can you refer as a contractor? And they said, oh yeah, we work with this guy. And they gave us a card. The guy, we said, okay, we'd like a level floor on this place. We presented him the floor plan and pictures of the place. And he said, okay, well, let me know when you know what you want to do. And I said, well, I like the floor to be level in the place. And he goes, and then he just never called us and never emailed us. It was very simple. We called him. We said, we got referred to you from the store. We have a store here. We're looking to level the place. And he just says, oh, okay. Well, let me know what you want to do. And he goes, we want to level the place. And we never heard from him again. Yeah. And then she calls, and she gets 20 minutes of perfect free advice. We probably got the code.
Not only that, here's the other thing, too.
We got Kevin.
They said they would call me up tomorrow to confirm when they were going to be stopping by, and they said that they're only 1 minute away, so they can swing by whenever. It's really something, and I told them, yeah, we would like for them to swing by, and I wish that there wasn't a ball being dropped, because I think if they had gone ahead and given their advice, then we would have never hired Eugene, or we would have had a second opinion about the deck situation.
Thank you, Vladimir. Let's see. Adam says Eugene is more of a scumbag than I thought, in Adam's opinion. Let's see. What's really sad is he'll be out doing this to somebody else. We'll see about that.
For sure he's going to try and do this to someone else.
Is he going to try? Yeah, but I think it's going to be hard to succeed. Again, there's other Eugene Harringtons in the world. When you Google, a lot of other stuff showed up, and the stuff that's showing up now when you Google is considerably different than the stuff that showed up about 2 weeks ago. I can tell you that
when I type
much.
up his name, more of these documents pop up.
If you disagree with a court ruling, it's called appeals. It's not free, but neither was the ruling. The ruling, I mean, it's not even about disagreeing with the ruling. He never showed up. You're never going to collect anything now after firing him. There's nothing to collect there anyway.
Yeah, there's nothing to collect there.
There's nothing to collect there anyway.
Because look with the learners, right? He was just bleeding them dry. He was making excuse after excuse. He needs weekly payments. Come on. I pranked him before because he had a business name online as Gotham City.
They're about 10 minutes behind him. So,
okay.
Scrolling through the... Let's just add 5% to all my costs by not depositing the check directly. Yeah, no. Says, yeah, Adam, you know the kind of person that does that. This is the kind of person who gives contractors a bad name. It's a shame. Yeah, this is one of the reasons that... hi, you can join for stream assisting, but not for demolition, of course. But you can definitely join for stream assisting. Do not email the... this is the kind of guy who gives contractors a bad name. Yeah, the thing there with giving contractors a bad name is... I realized that about repair shops. This is why reflowing dead GPUs pisses me off so much, because I know people hate repair shops because they get it fixed, and a week later, because in a week later or a month later it doesn't work, and they say that you're and they there's no warranty, it was cash only, and the person's screwed. They hate that. So why do I speak out so strongly against scammy shit that repair shops do? Why do I hate when they just reflow shit without using their brain? Because that's what gives us a bad name. I don't want customers walking into my store paranoid that they're going to get ripped off. But I understand why they're paranoid they're going to get ripped off. It's because of scam artists. Now I can take order.
And to follow up on that, oh, look at that, you moved Oreo away.
Yes.
To follow up on that, we've received a number of emails from people, regular people, people who are homeowners, people who are business owners, and they said that similar things have happened to them. They've hired one contractor, the contractor disappears. They hire another contractor, that person might say that they're bankrupt. Then they hire another contractor, and then they just ghost them. And then that person said they basically gave up after that. They just said,
Any
screw
bids
it.
coming in today or tomorrow? I got a fuck you bid today. I got Sonny's bid 2 days ago, and Brenner's will be later. I have a feeling in my heart of hearts it's going to be Sonny that we wind up going with because I trust him, I know him, I've seen the work he does, and I've seen the work that he does because he did my floor in my office, and I know where he lives and works, and I can stand outside of there and
I will personally go over there.
I can make sure Sonny shares some of these bruises.
Huh? I give him peace of my mind.
But I actually trust him as a human being. Some people have said that he's kind of that you fired somebody. How is it that after you fire somebody that you're just going to trust them with a job? I fired him for being lazy and not getting work done, and then he got another job running his own repair shop 3 blocks away in a place that was more expensive than mine, and 7 years later has more Yelp reviews than I do, better Yelp reviews than I do, and a line out the door every day at his own business. I mean, like, he showed, that I'll show you. He showed me. And what kind of mentor or ex-boss or teacher would I be if I can't admit, hey, man, you did a really good job. Congratulations. Good for you. I'm not going to be some jealous business owner that goes, he started a shop that competes with mine in my area, that bastard. No. He came to Practical Board Repair School in 2015. He bought me a cell phone for my birthday with a thank you note in 2014 and joked in it about destroying my competitor. I mean, a douchey competitor, not that one. I like he's a good guy, and he's done well for himself, and I think he deserves the credit for that. It doesn't mean you're automatically getting the job. Fuck out of here with that. But that whole, you can't hold a grudge forever. That people have to be able to redeem themselves. And what better way can an ex-employee who was lazy redeem themselves than start a competing business to yours that actually has a better reputation? That's something.
Someone was asking us to go ahead and buy the materials ourselves and then just pay the contractor to do that.
That's what
Sonny's proposal is actually that we buy the materials ourselves, so we know the quality of the things going in there, and then he'll have his team.
Yeah, he heard Paul in that video say, I wanted this type of tile, and Sonny came in with some clapboard shit because that was on sale at Home Depot. Fuck that! Sonny probably heard Paul say that and thought to himself, well, I can solve this problem by having you choose the materials. You choose buy me the paint, buy me the tile, let me do the work, which is great.
Yeah.
The more and more you read, the more evident it gets how relatively lucky Lewis got.
Yeah.
Indeed. And now we're gonna have to read the super chat later, but I'm done with interrupting what I'm saying to read it as it passes on screen because that causes aneurysms. I cannot wait to see the new store. Hi, Erica and Lewis.
I can't wait to see it either.
Yeah. Why the bruises, man? Martial arts trainer. This is called not blocking properly. Or what is it? Not using muscle instead of structure and not turning it off when you're supposed to. They're good lessons. They're good lessons.
Oh, wait, someone said that it'll probably take us 6 hours to rip the floor?
We'll see. That's probably the contractor version of 2 weeks.
I don't know.
Erica's much quieter and harder to hear.
Yeah,
I'm talking into the path of the mic as I go into the camera. Erica's talking into the camera.
Oh.
Erica also is not as loud and obnoxious as I am.
Oh.
I'm like Loud Howard and Dilbert. How are you, Erica? See? Loud Howard!
Gosh.
Have you had a conversation with the person who referred the previous contractor?
Yeah.
I did, but that's kind of like...
It's irrelevant.
It's a waste of time. He lost his job. His wife is divorcing him. It's like, I mean, his...
the other thing, too, is that Eugene, in my opinion, might have done good work in the past because we've seen his work that he did previously, and he was very proud about that. That was another thing that caught us off guard. He said, I did this place and I did this place, and we saw it. We looked inside. It looked great. But his quality of work definitely went downhill, in my opinion, and he found it easier to just ride out his reputation of the past, it seems.
I would have kicked him to the curb, especially when he was caught lying about the stuff at the office. Honestly, the right day to kick him to the curb was day 11.
The
Day
bathroom
11,
floor day.
yeah, bathroom floor day. Like when he tried to put the tip in with that, that was the day to, there were cigarette butts on the floor. You were an hour and a half late to the meeting, and you were trying to get more money. That should have been the day that we say, get out of here. Get out of here. He called that a design meeting. That wasn't a design meeting. That was a sodomize me meeting. And I made the mistake, the sunken cost fallacy. I've given you 11K. Best if we just let you finish the job. We were talking about restarting the job with Sonny that day, and we didn't. My fault.
Honestly, I don't think the day 11 was really the error. And in case you're wondering how come I didn't show up on the video, I was actually in Hawaii up until like December 13th.
She abandoned me for abs on the beach.
I had a funeral to
abs
go to.
on a beach!
I had a funeral to go to, and
That's
you
what she
know
calls
that.
it. That's
you
what
know
she calls
I had
it.
a funeral to go to.
Funeral.
And it was really a funeral.
I can't wait to go to a funeral at the FIT student lounge.
It was my grandma's sister. Okay?
I can't wait to attend the funeral at the FIT student lounge.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, so I didn't go ahead and I wasn't seeing what was going on, and that's why I wasn't at any of the meetings that they had. And I had no idea that when they had that conversation with Eugene, around that time, that's when they decided we're going to pay up front for the counters and the next phase. That was a huge mistake, and I think it's a huge learning lesson.
What if we all contacted his business, pretending to be interested in his services, and then essentially waste his time? Like what people do to phone scammers. Would that morally be a bad thing to do? Well, I think that people get what's coming to them, and I think karma exists. One of the reasons that I try to be honest when nobody's looking, one of the reasons that people like Alan, the real estate agent, try to be honest when nobody's looking, is because we understand that karma exists and that stuff comes back to you. It really does. The reason that I think that if any time in the future my back is genuinely up against a wall legally because of an Apple thing or whatever, that people would support me, is because there are tens of hundreds of thousands of people out there that saved a little bit of money when they didn't have money because I put something out there for free when I could have just said, fuck you, give me $400 to fix your board. I think that karma is a genuine thing. And, there's no solution for me getting my money back legally. There's no way legally for me to get it back because he's never going to deposit money in his bank account. It doesn't matter if there's a judgment put on him. The only thing that would cause him to give money back is realizing that if he does the right thing, that he will have an easier time going forwards. I don't want people to harass him. I don't want people to call him and obnoxiously do shit. That's not what I want. I simply want him to return what he took for a deposit for a counter that he never bought a single material for, that he never put together. That's it. I don't want harassment. I don't want phone calls. That's all I want. We're about 10 minutes behind in comments, so let's go.
New York, June. Look who came.
If I was confronting Eugene when you did, I would have told him, I know you set fire to your house, and I hope you don't want 1 million people to know.
It's too late.
That's...
In my opinion.
In your opinion, that's an opinion of a commenter.
The thing I don't understand is why would he say, refer me and I'll give you like a 5% cut when he knows he's going to do a crap job at the new store, right? That doesn't make sense. Like, who would go ahead and refer him if he does a crap job? See.
He was an Eli plan to try and win the bet. That would be an interesting turn in the story arc. It's hard for you because you're an honest repair shop and the so-called mall shops give you a bad name. Yeah, the iFix and fuck-ups. Did I say that? I mean iFix and repairs. Oh, I'm not Jessa. I don't do work for them. I don't have to be nice. Lewis crashed his bike again. No.
Scroll down. If you look at the video where Sunny was, where an Asian guy was saying how the wood was crap, for instance, that's Sunny.
Hi Hi says martial arts training. Sure.
No, those are some big bruises. If you see the size of those welts.
Hi Hi doesn't believe me. Come to work tomorrow, Hi Hi. We'll bring weaponry.
It's been there for like over a week.
Oh, we're gonna have fun when Hi Hi comes to work tomorrow. You bought hammers at Home Depot?
Yes.
Oh. Hi Hi, you'll get a hammer, I get a hammer.
What?
We'll film it.
Screwed up?
We have 6 minutes of... We're behind, and then we have to read the paper.
Yeah, that's fine.
Ear rape, LOL, low volume. Oh, that was the Loud Howard section. LOL, abs on the beach. Damn, you guys know how Erica spent her
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
whatever. Abs are overrated.
She has to make me believe that.
No, it is. Do you know how much work goes into getting abs? You have to go ahead and stick with the diet plan and... like a very strict diet plan. Have a friend.
Have a friend hire the asshole contractor. Wait till he leaves tools there, then change the lock. Tell him he can get his tools back when he returns the money.
Do you know how...
No, did you hear that segment from Day 38? From Day 38, he's like, yo, he's my ride home. He's like, no, I haven't gotten paid for the day. And the guy goes, man, I don't give a shit. I'll just take his tools. And the other guy says, his tools don't even work.
Yeah.
Most of the tools that were there belong to his employees, not him. You can't even do that because you're just going to fuck over innocent people.
See, that was the other thing that concerned me. And, you know, when I was rethinking about things, I could not understand how come no one voiced to us early on, hey, you know, we don't have the tools to do our job here.
You don't want stuff like you don't want
Little
schematics,
suspicious.
so you actually don't want us to do that. Again, I think that if people harassed him, that's not going to actually get anything done. I don't want people to harass him. I just want back the money for the counter that I never got. And we asked him for it politely, and he never gave it. And I realize I'm not getting it back if I ever sue him. I'm not asking people to harass him. I'm asking him to do the right thing.
The learners called him up and, you know, they tried to contact him and he just ignored their calls. So he's probably gotten used to just ignoring calls.
Generation XT says no revenge action against Eugene. Bad idea. Very bad idea. I agree with you. Terrible idea. Don't do it. I don't endorse violence against anything besides my left arm. Obviously. It actually looks like lips.
Kind of looks like a UFO.
Yeah.
Well, the truth is out there, everyone.
There's
What
going to be
happened
some
that?
more tomorrow. You'll see. It's beautiful. Are you dissing Erica and her MacBook? Everybody disses Erica and her
whatever.
MacBook. This thing's a piece of shit. Hear the fan spinning on that thing all the time? Sounds louder than a HEPA filter, and it's just idling.
Let's see.
Please scratch Oreo's back, says Vladimir.
Okay.
I love that cat so much. There is some good front paws there. I would hug that cat all
I
the time.
know. Let's see here. Wait, look at that. Scroll up. Karma's absolutely real. Karma's absolutely real. As someone who has experienced, there is no way to explain how to someone how real karma is. After I experienced karma myself, it taught me integrity. I would like to think that maybe he would go ahead and change Eugene, but I have to question, and the speculation on my part, how much of a conscience he has. Because
In your opinion.
yeah, that's what I said. Well, I'm speculating, in my opinion, how much of a conscience he has, because he knew that the money we were giving him was mostly based off of the GoFundMes. And he had no problem with just screwing everybody over. He knew it. You know, we said how thankful we were about it and how we wanted the money to be spent wisely, and we really appreciated that, we had faith that he would do a good job, and he was reassuring us, saying that, your viewers will be happy when they see the result of it. The work will speak for itself, and we just didn't care. I have
What's really interesting here as well, and it does make me wonder what it is that I've done, because I have hold on, get off my mouse.
Look at my little man.
Because I do think there's a chance that I've done something that deserves me some karma. When I take a look, let me just get the PDF off the screen. You'll see that, now I can't confirm that these are the same people. I can't confirm it. But one of the plaintiffs listed here is featured in this article. Company CEO gets 3 years in jail for overbilling taxpayers more than $1.3 million. Mm-hmm. So one of the people who is having this thing built, it seems like they made a good amount of their money by overbilling taxpayers. Was it karma that they got Eugene? Because think about it. They're not asking Eugene to, help them, unclog their arteries or anything. They're asking for not an essential service. They're asking for a ballet room, a gym, and a theater room to be added to their Montauk vacation house. Mm-hmm. And they got screwed. And it seems like, in my opinion, that karma worked its way out. You bill taxpayers $1.3 million over, and you get Eugene. So one of the things that I'm kind of curious about is, over the past 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 years, I'd like to really examine the way that I've lived my life and the way that I've conducted myself, and really dig in there and wonder, what have I done to deserve getting shanked or shafted for $30,000 or so dollars?
I think that
maybe Eugene is like the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present and future. Maybe that he's there because I did something.
I think that's a flawed way of thinking. And the reason why I say that is because everyone has had things happen to them. People have gotten ripped off by contractors, and you can't go ahead and say all the people who got ripped off by contractors did something really bad in their past, because a lot of these people are just innocent people who work hard, and they just want to have, a better house or a better business. I don't believe in that at all. I don't think you did something that drew Eugene to you in terms of karma. I think Eugene was just a wave of bad luck, and you know what? We'll get through it together. Eugene is a little bump.
Give Lewis an iPhone 4 to repair.
So, yeah, I don't think Eugene is going to change. That's my personal opinion. I think he doesn't have much of a conscience. He doesn't care who he rips off. He just cares about having the money. He doesn't care if he rips off, for instance, a charity.
Is that an opinion?
Won't face him. Yeah, that's why I said in my opinion.
In my opinion.
Yeah. I think that he just will cash a check and do whatever he can to get the money and then just run away.
Let's see. Let's read. I've just been reading on.
But I know for a fact.
I want to rehot the floor, Kopaz says. I wonder how those employees are paid. Probably with cash.
Most likely with cash.
When I spam the fast forward button about 5 times a second while on the stream, it makes it look really funny. I haven't been paying attention the last 10 minutes because I've been doing this.
Oh yeah, that's Kopaz already. Yeah.
Have a great night, Lewis. Thank you. Okay, what else do we have here? Now to read what we've missed.
But I'm confident that the people who have seen these videos, I know we've saved them collectively $30,000, because you guys are going to be so much smarter.
Well, you put up a GoPro in the new shop to time-lapse the work later.
Like this.
Maybe I will. Let's see. Paul Bruh, keep it up. Thank you, Paul Brew. He was an Eli plan to try and win the bet. Thank you, Tyler, and incorrect. He failed. I guess incorrect on Eli's part. How are the cats and how's you both? Kitties are doing well. I am highly stressed, but I'm usually always highly strung, so that's the thing. Since I'm always highly stressed, there's not really much higher to go. But I'm quite up there. Maybe they thought you meant level like destroy. Maybe that's what it is. Time to look forward, small drop in the bucket.
Yeah, exactly.
I pranked him before since he uses Gotham City. Thank you, Remco. Interesting STP. Paul Bruh says, fist bump with a little birdie that looks like the Twitter birdie.
I almost go on.
I can't wait to see the new store, says Ryan. Have you chosen a new contractor? Nope. I think I know who it's going to be, but not yet. I have a naked kitty watching your stream, says Christopher Kelly. Does your cat usually have clothes on? As opposed to what? A kitty in a suit and tie? And Rono donated €1. Thank you.
I just wanted to share this with you guys. So, a few days after we posted the video where the contractor Eugene was fired and everybody knew we were out $30,000, we got something in the mail and it was cat food. And someone, I'm not going to say his name, he said, I can't let Orioles starve after their dad lost their pants on a scumbag contractor. And it was something that really touched me because I couldn't believe that someone, it was just really touching. And whoever it is, I don't know who you are personally, but I just want to say, thank you so much, because I've been going in my mind about, what we could have done to prevent this, because I feel like we let a lot of you guys down. But I know we're going to just move forward from it. And yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah, so, yeah, I didn't mean to crash the stream, but
She has actual emotions. She's a human.
yeah, so whoever sent this, thank you so much.
Where is emotional support, kitty?
Oh, he's somewhere over there. So, yeah, I know we're going to get through this. It's definitely a bump in the road, but we're going to be positive and we're going to just work forward.
Erica hasn't cried like this since she realized I put knockoff parts in her MacBook to fix it.
You.
I did to her MacBook what r/Apple says I do to everybody else's.
Yeah, all the notes that we get from the kitty wish list, we read both of them, and this was the note that really made me speechless. And I wrote a short thank you, but there's only so much I can say in the lines that Amazon gives me for thank yous. Yeah. Yeah, so we want to get the space open as quickly as possible. And we will just move forward. We're going to move forward as a team together. And I want to go ahead and do things differently this time. We should definitely involve all you guys in the process. Film as much as we can. Have your input in.
Supply company investor karma. Possibly so. Well, I remember with that company, what bothered me is that I wanted a loan, and he demanded a partnership, and he kept pushing on how to make more money, how to make more money, how to get more sales, how to make more money, how to get more sales. And that wound up failing. Perhaps that's what it is. Maybe it's karma for supply company failure.
I don't think so.
Dev/random says, Eugene and 3 employees downvoted your stream.
Yeah, it was recommended that something about a 1099 on the RS. I think we're going to do as much as we can to let people know about Eugene and just let the work that he put forth with us really speak for itself, because that's what he said, right? His work will speak for himself, so people should know about it.
What are you going to do now? Rip out all the crap? Get started again with new person? Open a kick-ass store? Have a special spot and a little plaque dedicated to this whole fun journey.
Yeah, I want to have a screen so everybody who donated, your names will show up, and we're going to have a bunch of anonymouses, but so that way you guys, if you do visit the store, maybe you'll see your name up there. And it's a small little thank you for helping make the store come to life. Because, he wanted to have a bigger location, because right now they're in a sardine can. No, seriously, you guys. I can't visit the store during regular hours because there's no space for me. What are you laughing at?
It's funny that there's no space for you because
There is no space for me.
You're as thin as a pencil.
Everyone asks me, they say, like, why do you come towards the store so late? It's because I can't fit. If you look at the hallway, me and Oreo can't fit side by side, barely through the doorway. It's so narrow. Yeah, we're gonna bounce back, I'm sure of it. Anonymous 100.
Put Eugene's picture of the year. I switched to iPhone. Need to get rid of some Google credit. Here you go and keep up, says Vinici.
Aw, thank you. Yeah, I can't wait till you guys can finally stretch your arms out. I feel like right now everyone's like a Tetris piece in the store.
I switched to iPhone. I need to get rid of some Google credit.
Let's see.
Janny says, did Erica get emotional because she felt she let the community down by trusting Eugene? If so, it's not your fault. You're right, it's not her fault because she didn't hire the dumbass. I did.
No,
it's my fault for trusting a dumbass.
I feel like you guys entrusted us to go ahead and make sure that, we picked a good contractor, but we thought with the referral, that was the blind spot. Also, I take accountability for it because I didn't look at the contract, when it was getting signed. I never asked him about it. I could have been more proactive.
Michael says, here's a few more of my dollars to help get you the new place that you've earned. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
All right, time to end this.
I welcome Oreo being the security guard. You guys want to know something? I'm afraid if Oreo's at the store and we don't keep an eye on him, someone's just going to catnap Oreo because he won't put up a fight. You can literally lift this cat up, and if you're a stranger, he won't.
Do you have any? No, I know that's not going to happen.
What?
I know it's not going to happen.
You know no one's going to take Oreo.
I kept him in the front of the store for weeks. Nobody.
Well, it's because your place is so small.
I
If
encourage
Oreo
people-
moves, people will know that one
I
square
encourage
foot.
people to take him.
You encourage him to take
Yeah, he
him.
would nuzzle and greet the customers, and I'd say, "You want a cat? You want a cat? You want a cat?"
Really?
He poops outside the litter box.
He sometimes he just can't hold it in. That's all it is. They saw his ass.
All right, time to go.
Well, thank you so much, you guys.
See you all later. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.
See ya.
Hopefully we have some more board repair stuff coming soon.
Hey, we should do a live stream tomorrow. What do you think? Sound good?
Hi, I agree. We just need to hire a stream assistant that's not wasting all their time on this BS called college and try and have a future for themselves. But, yeah, half kidding. See you all tomorrow. Hi. Bring your hammer.
We have a hammer for him.
Oh, boy.
We have a hammer.
I'm excited.
We have hammer, we have safety goggles, we have gloves, earplugs.
Everything I need.
I think.
Hi.